For better or worse, the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter, which aggregates movie reviews into a single percentage-based score, has become the default measuring stick for the movie industry. While a buzzworthy movie can potentially tank at the box office if it earns a rotten aggregated score below 60%, a film can become legendary if it achieves the nearly impossible feat of earning a unanimously positive 100% fresh rating from critics. In fact, of all the movies in the Rotten Tomatoes database with at least 40 reviews, only 105 movies have ever earned a 100% fresh rating. Those movies, as you can see here, those movies, as you can see here, include classics like Charlie Chaplin's The Kid, Walt Disney's Pinocchio, Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, and Gene Kelly's Singing in the Rain. There are also dozens of perfectly scored movies you've probably never even heard of, and even more films that tragically just missed that 100% milestone. So today, in honor of our 100th episode of What to Watch Live, we've decided to honor the movies that may have scored 99 on Rotten Tomatoes, but will ever hold a 100 in our hearts. And we'll start with Nicole. Nicole, which 99% fresh movie do you think deserves a perfect 100?
All right, I am going with Eighth Grade. It's a 2018 comedy drama starring Elsie Fisher, directed by Bo Burnham. It starts off with this fun perspective of an average eighth grade girl and how awkward it could be. Then it transforms into this like dramatic take on all the grief that teenagehood brings. Body shaming, being excluded from social events, the pressures and agony of having to grow up overnight. And I think Elsie really captures all of these emotions. It's definitely something I recommend to people all of the time. So I think it's 100% worthy of 100%. And like, there's so many iconic lines. Like, Maddie, I'm going to toss it to you with Gucci.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about that. It's so cringe.
Oh, no, wait, she does it. I'm not dead. She does that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this, right?
Yeah.
It's so cringe, but it's so true. That movie is like, does perfectly capture what it's like to be like an awkward middle schooler. So yes. I agree with this. This is one of the first movies I watched in my big like A24 rewatch that I did before I started working here. So it was a very nice intro into all the A24 movies that I love so much.
I love the little chicken nugget kid in this, who loves all the dipping sauces, and they go on the date and he has all the dipping sauces. I believe his name is Jake Ryan, is that actor? He was recently in Asteroid City as well. You pop up.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He pops up in a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, oh, there's that chicken nugget kid.
Is his name Ryan? Like from 16 Candles.
I really do think his name's Jake Ryan.
Yeah.
Someone fact check me on that. But he's fantastic, and Elsie's great as well. And she just recently was in something too that totally escapes me.
The Summer I Turned Pretty, which is a show I can't believe I'm announcing that I really kind of enjoyed.
You didn't even flinch. You just
I knew. Yeah.
But very good at that. She also did a couple episodes of Barry. I think
that's what it was. Yeah. She plays the actress's like protege or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she was great in that too.
Yeah, this is an excellent movie. That's a great pick, Nicole. Maddie, what is the 99 that should have been 100?
Okay, so I apologize. I'm gonna rant a little bit here. So if I had the power to bestow one more fresh tomato point to any movie, it would be without a doubt Paddington 2. So David and Nicole, you two know me, and you know that I'm not really into children's content, right? Like it has to just blow me away to land for me. Paddington 2 does just that. I do believe it's a perfect movie. I'm not sure how much of like the lore, the Film Bro lore you're aware of, but it's very much a topic in film Twitter and film talk where people call the Paddington franchise better than a lot of the classic movies. I didn't say it, but a lot of people make the joke that Paddington 1 and 2 is a better double feature than The Godfather 1 and 2. And it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of not, I think, in my opinion. I don't know. That's why I originally chose to watch Paddington, because I wanted to know if these bold statements had any legitimacy, and they so do. So Nicole, have you ever seen this? I'm not tossing, but have you watched Paddington?
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces. I don't think I gave it the attention it deserves. I'll say that.
Okay, what about you, David?
I've seen the first one. I have not seen the second one, but I
Okay,
love it. And Paddington reminds me of my dog's face. So I just have such his little tiny bear face I love.
Yeah, so just to recap, Paddington 1 is about a young Peruvian bear who travels to London in search of a home. He meets the Brown family who take him in, but he also attracts the attention of a taxidermist played by Nicole Kidman. Come on, who wants to stuff him and add him to her collection. In the second movie, which is somehow even more heartwarming and adorable than the first, he's settled in with the Brown family. He's bringing marmalade sandwiches to everyone in town, and he's doing odd jobs when he witnesses a book being stolen from an antique shop. He's then framed for the crime and heads to prison. He's incarcerated in this movie. I'm not kidding. And I'll leave out the rest of the plot details because I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll confidently say that Paddington 2 is a better prison movie than The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, no, Maddie. Oh, no.
I'm telling you, I love Shawshank. Paddington 2 is a better movie. But that's my soapbox plea for Paddington 2 to get 100%. I want to just throw this out for Nicole in case I haven't convinced her enough. There is a hilarious moment in the semi-recent Nick Cage film, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, where Nick Cage asks Pedro Pascal, who is Nicole's guy, what his 3 favorite movies are. And then there's like this dramatic pause before he announces his final film, and he admits that it's Paddington 2. And Nick Cage is like furious about this answer. He's confused, like you two are acting right now. And later on in the movie, Nick Cage begrudgingly watches it with Pedro Pascal, and you see them both hysterically crying watching Paddington 2 together. So if your boy thing, I know it's just a character, but I'm sure he's the type of guy that would love this movie as well.
Yeah, you got me there. You really got me there. So is that the reason why you watched Paddington 2, or had you already seen it?
I had seen it already, but the joke absolutely killed for me when I heard it in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which I liked, but the Paddington 2 reference was my favorite part.
It's a good plug-in for another film. I like it.
I'm loving this crustless number 2 sandwich that Paddington's holding. I just keep thinking about how delicious that looks.
Yeah, and marmalade is like, have you guys had marmalade before?
I haven't.
It's disgusting, but it's very cute when he does it. So maybe I'd give Paddington give the marmalade sandwich another try.
I also love Hugh Bonneville, and I know he's in these. So, and is Ben Whishaw? He's the voice of Paddington.
Yeah, I forget his name, but yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
All right, you guys know what you're talking about. I did not
things about Paddington.
Google the voice actor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I met Hugh Bonneville at the Downton Abbey premiere. Super nice guy. Me and Elizabeth, we called him Bernie from Notting Hill. Do you remember that small party?
No.
He didn't realize Julia Roberts was a celebrity. He just kind of like the goof of the movie. Anyway.
Never seen it.
I also once did a phone interview with Hugh Bonneville, and he was the nicest man on earth.
Nice.
I wanted to be my dad. Thank you, Maddie. My pick now, one of my absolute favorite documentaries of all time, is the 2011 Japanese film entitled Jiro Dreams of Sushi, which follows then 85-year-old sushi chef Jiro Ono, who runs a 10-seat sushi restaurant in a Tokyo subway station. Jiro is widely considered one of the greatest sushi chefs of all time, and his restaurant, which serves a 20-course tasting menu for around $270 American, is the first sushi restaurant in the world to receive 3 Michelin stars. But what I really love about this documentary is the story it tells about Jiro and his sons. The youngest leaves Jiro's restaurant to start his own establishment, which has gone on to earn Michelin stars of its own. And then there's the eldest son, who was already in his 50s when the documentary was made, but he was still working under his father, waiting for the day he can finally take over the family business and ascend to the sushi throne. And as someone who is absolutely obsessed with sushi, I was so enthralled by the insight into how the various fish is selected, how Jiro organizes his courses, how he organizes where the people sit at the counter, how meticulous he is in developing his flavor profiles, and how demanding he is on his apprentices. In fact, one apprentice spent 3 months cooking the same egg dish before it met Jiro's standards. He made the same. If you ever had sushi, it's just got that little egg, the yellow egg pillow on there. He had to do that 200 times before Jiro was like, you nailed it.
Right.
And it's common for these apprentices to spend months on end doing the same task over and over, whether it's massaging octopus tentacles for an hour every day or crisping seaweed over an open flame. And these employees will sometimes spend 10 years as apprentices before being elevated to the artisan level, which is the next level up. Today, Jiro is 97 years old and still running the restaurant, and his son, who is now in his 60s, is still waiting to take over. And the movie talks a lot about whether he should just go and do his own thing or take over for his dad. And he's like encouraging his dad, like, you got to retire eventually. And Jiro's just like, nah, I'm good here making the sushi. Jiro Dreams of Sushi received 95 total reviews when it was released, and only one of them was negative. A review by the New York Times, where a writer criticized the film for spending too much time declaring Jiro's excellence. This film absolutely deserves a 100% fresh rating.
So, quick question. Didn't this win an Oscar? I know it was nominated at least.
I believe it did win for Best Documentary the year that it was released.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like so out of nowhere, who's going to watch a sushi documentary, but I'm glad that you mentioned it, definitely.
It's very good, Maddie.
I have two things for you, because you almost lost me at Subway Sushi. I have a person I used to work with a long time ago who was a little older, used to always come up from Grand Central Station with her sushi from the train, and it would gross me out so much. But based on all the additional facts you gave, it sounds pretty darn good. When watching this documentary, do you suggest we eat sushi, or is just any crappy sushi we're going to get from around here not going to hold up to the sushi we're seeing on screen, so we should just not be participating in sushi eating? So
it's interesting because I've never gone to one of these types of sushi places. I think they call it, like, I'm going to butcher what it's called, but like omakase or omakase, Omakase, where it is like 20 courses of a single piece of sushi. And so you get 20 of those. And I'm always like, there's no way that's going to fill me up. And apparently it does. But that's what he does. He like creates single pieces of sushi, places it in front of you. And then they say in the movie, he just sits there and he just watches you. He just stares at you as you eat it. But he puts such care into every one of these little bits, and he really like takes pleasure in watching people enjoy it, even though he like looks exactly how he looks in the center of this poster, emotionless the entire time. All that to say, I think any old sushi will do, because I can't even comprehend how these single bits of sushi taste as good as they say they do. Okay, but do we need, if we all get together and have some sushi, maybe me and Nicole can eat the sushi and then you can just stare at us the whole time?
Yeah, we need the full experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Deal, you'll get the full Jiro experience. Right. Literally, this dude is so good. These guys were massaging tentacles because you have to tenderize the octopus, and he comes in and feels it and knows that the dude has not done the full hour. That's how good he is. He's like, no, this tentacle, you only massaged it for half an hour, not an hour.
Oh my god,
wild. That is wild.
Intense. Yeah.
Highly recommend this for anyone. And you can check out all the movies we talked about: Paddington 2, or 8th Grade. All very good movies, as well as all the 100% films we just talked about. You can do that just by saying what to watch into your voice remote. And that's it. We'll be there.